first time I joined long distance, I collapsed on my first 10-kilometer run. That's 2009. And then I ended up in the emergency room. My father told me na, undang na lang siguro ng running cause asin, mara na yung matyan. And then, ingon siya, sige kung mao na mong gusto. Basta make sure lang nga safe ka ba, ang pinga ni mo permi mong lawas. Toughest race I had was the 2017 or the 41st National MILO Marathon where I have to defend my 5th title. That few hours before my competition, my papa died. Both me and my papa want to win this title. He really wanted me to win this title. And then, that's his dream. And just, he said nga, sa finish line na lang ta magkita. You have to run. So with that in my mind, okay pa, it's too hard for me to compete nga wa man lang mi nagkita before asa ko nagkuha sa akong kusog to defend my title. It's him. It's my papa because we promised each other to meet in the finish line. So with heavy heart, with too much emotion, with too much sadness, I ran my marathon for him. I just have to finish the race no matter what. It made me become a good person, a better person, and representing the country is impossible dream. Even running in the Olympics, and I never imagined nga isasag ko nga makakompete anang Olympics, and I made it. And I made it to be the first Filipina to qualify for the Olympics, and I was very, very happy. To the athletes and to the upcoming pride of our country, just always put your 100% dedication on your chosen sport, to whatever sport it is or to whatever career. Just put your 100% dedication, and also hard work. If someone is training hard, you have to work harder or the hardest. You have to double it if you want to really improve, and you have to be a disciplined athlete. You have to know also kung unsa imong gisugdan and what you're running for or what you're aiming for. Always dream big. It might be very impossible, but if you have to keep on working for that impossible dream to make it possible. Like, ask yourself every day, how much time do you spend in a day working on your dream? So, mao lang na siya. And then, always stay humble. Always put your feet on the ground and have faith. Have faith on yourself. Have faith on your training. Have faith from God above. Always pray. And just stay humble.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Gold Diggers, a show where we discuss stories of leadership and motivation, with sports serving as a metaphor, dedicated to daily grinders, corporate athletes, and go-getters. And once again, we are live, so if you have any comments or questions, feel free to jot them down. And we would like to express our thoughts and prayers to everyone who were affected by the tragedies caused by Typhoon Ulysses. We're hoping that things will be better in the succeeding days. I'm your host, Carlos Pineda, your resident box-to-box midfielder or point forward transitioning from esports football and vice versa. In the previous episode, we had Anto Gonzalez, a football coach who taught us how to lead with a purpose, finding that bigger version than yourself, learning the importance of empathy, and creating that values-driven and winning culture. And I wouldn't be able to appreciate his journey as well as pay tribute to one of his most cherished players in Raji if it weren't for my fellow gold diggers. Let's welcome all of them, Simone, Relly, and Robbie.
Hi, teammates. Simone here. Today's guest has a very interesting journey, and we're really happy she could join us today. We hope you stay with us as we dig deeper into her story and find out what makes her tick. What do you think our viewers can expect with today's episode, Rels?
Thanks, Sim. Well, first of all, welcome teammates to another episode of the Gold Diggers. I hope you guys are all safe, and of course, our prayers go out to the victims of Typhoon Ulysses. Now we are all hit hard, and I hope you guys will recover fast. We're all right behind you, cheering you guys on. We're here to entertain you tonight, and hopefully send some positive vibes through our special guest, who is an Olympic marathoner, by the way, which Carlos and Robbie will introduce. So please stick around and stay tuned.
Thanks, Relly. So we hope we serve as a pleasant distraction tonight as we take the conversation over to the Visayas tonight with another accomplished athlete and Olympian and friend, Mary Joy Tabal, as we dig into how she stays motivated despite challenges and challenging times such as these times right now. So over to you, Carlos.
It's a pleasure to have my fellow gold diggers in this show. All right, now let's proceed to the main event. Introducing our guest. A goal-oriented woman who traversed the difficulties of living on a mountainous terrain to become an athlete, where she started her career as a sprinter and made a transition to marathoning. From there, she established a legacy by winning a plethora of national MILO tournaments for 4 straight years from 2013 until 2016, which allowed her to explore every facet of the world, showing her iron lungs in Boston, Dubai, Ottawa, Singapore, and the rest. But her obra maestra came when she became the first Filipino Olympic marathoner, where she competed in Rio de Janeiro back in 2016. Besides her career as a marathoner, she is a scholar who earned a Bachelor of Science degree in Commerce, major in Management Accounting, plus a master's degree in Public Administration. And she's also a baker and businesswoman, as seen with her ventures with Queen Mary's Kitchen. Without further ado, let's welcome MJT, Mary Joy Tabal.
Hi everyone! Magandang gabi po sa lahat. And I know this is a rough time for everyone, especially not only because it's pandemic, but because many of our kababayans are greatly affected and hit by Typhoon Oly and Ulysses. So my thoughts and prayers for all our kababayans, and we're praying for you, we're here for you. And for tonight, I will be inspiring you or motivate you on how I dig deep or how I dig in to be able to run this far. So,
yep, indeed. We have that inspirational messages from Mary Joy Tabal to those who are heavily affected by the ravaging storm. So, MJ, I'm curious, of course, kilala ka namin as a marathoner and you've accomplished a lot. Curious lang ako, what happens sa buhay mo, or how do you describe yung daily life ni Mary Joy Tabal? Go.
My life before a pandemic was a normal routine every day. Same thing happens in a day, like waking up early in the morning to do my morning training and then rest a bit and then do some other stuff aside from training, and then another training in the afternoon. It might be cross training or might be an easy running, but it's more or less 11 times of training in a week. So that's more, one rest a week, and the rest it's more on running.
Wow, so daily life mo talaga, training after training after
Yes,
training.
but it changed during this pandemic. Everything changed.
Oh, wow. Okay. So, wow. Like, non-stop training, and then all of a sudden, nandito yung pandemya and everyone is affected without a doubt. Okay. So, syempre, nakita namin na yung araw-araw na paghuhusga mo sa training, sa pananakbo, or sa pagiging marathoner. I mean, it it brought something else. But syempre, nandun pa rin yung misconceptions about marathoning, or may ibang tao na parang may ibang perspectives about it. So, tanong ko lang, Miss MJ, what is marathoning and paano ang maghanda, or paano yung proseso sa paghahanda sa pagiging marathoner? Go.
Marathon is an endurance running. You'll have to run 26 miles or 42.195 kilometers. And it's a test of endurance. And you cannot run a marathon without any preparation for it. So you really have to prepare when you are planning to run for a marathon. So it's a test of endurance.
Wow, like
Endurance.
40 plus kilometers? Man, that's insane. I mean, syempre, isa kang ehemplo sa larangan ng marathoning kasi ikaw 42 kilometers, of course, that's already diversified into different categories, pero you still stood the test of time, maski 17K, 10K, 21K, etc., etc. Like, we can clearly see sa accomplishments mo, Miss MJ. So, speaking of accomplishments, MJ, kasi, syempre, alam namin na ikaw ang pinakaunang Filipino Marathon Olympian for the Philippines, and you were able to represent our country sa Rio de Janeiro Olympics. So, what does that mean for Mary Joy Tabal, as well as for the entire nation, to be the first Filipino Marathon Olympian? Go.
For me, being the first Filipino Marathon Olympian is a dream come true. It's not only my dream, but it's all Filipinos' dream, or it's every athlete's dream to be an Olympian. And it's hindi mo ma-explain into words yung pride and honor to be an Olympian. And it takes courage. It takes a lot of time, effort, and buhay to be an Olympian. And it's not an easy road to be there. But nasa sayo yan. So it's up to someone kung paano niya i-handle yung dream niya to be an Olympian. And I'm very, very proud and honored, grateful to be the first Filipino Marathon Olympian, because I am giving an inspiration to everyone na kaya mo pala maging Olympian.
Yeah, and kita natin na yung pagiging Olympian, like from the previous episodes with Miss Heidelin Diaz, and then as well as your story, na yung pagiging Olympian is literally mahirap talaga siyang i-accomplish. But you're able to defy the odds, and that's actually a good experience, being able to be that symbol of pride para sa mga Pilipinos, para sa ating mga kababayan. All right. So, MJ, I'm also curious na, 'di ba, na-mention mo na naapektuhan ka ng pandemic. So, I was wondering, what have you been up to lately?
For the past how many months? At first, I thought the lockdown was just for 2 weeks or a month, but then it lasted up to this time. So I was like, I used to run hundreds of kilometers a week, and I was confined indoors like everyone else starting March. And I was very worried and anxious, and naging problematic din ako kasi I used to run outdoors, and being stuck at home takes a lot of courage and adjustment. So, nag-isip ako kung ano ba yung pwede ko pang gawin as an athlete, and really, sport really helped me cope up with the situation. Kasi kung hindi ako nagiging athlete, hindi ako ganito katatag ngayon. And I won't be here if I didn't learn something from my sport. And yes, my baking helped me because I always wanted to be productive, and being stuck at home gave me more time to focus on other stuff na gusto ko at hilig kong gawin. I do love cooking and baking, and nabigyan ako ng chance ngayon to focus on baking. So, parang naging productive yung day ko, shifting from my home gym to my kitchen. So, ang bilis ng oras. So, it really helped me a lot during this time.
Yep, indeed. I mean, nakikita ko nga sa Instagram page mo and your Facebook pages that, and even sa mga balita, like when you established Queen Mary's Kitchen all of a sudden, yung productivity levels mo umangat because of this like new venture of yours. Like, you're not just, hindi ka lang atleta, isa ka rin businesswoman. So it highly influences others to diversify their skill set and to learn other important things in their lives as well, especially sa mga panahon ng crisis kagaya ng pandemya na ito. So anyway, ladies and gentlemen, for those of you watching, shout out po sa mga nanonood. Maraming salamat po kay Ginoong Gian Kyle Capistrano, kay Lorenzo Enrico Rojas, kay Arvil Orellana, kay Nico Dasilio. Maraming salamat po sa mga shoutout, and hopefully safe naman kayo sa pandemic na ito, as well as the ravaging storm na naganap for the past few days. All right. So, hindi lang ako ang may tanong for Ms. MJ. My fellow gold diggers have their questions as well. So, let me introduce them to you. Ladies and gentlemen, Simone, Relly, and Robbie, you know what to do. The floor is yours. Take it away.
Thanks, Carlos. So I'll start with MJ. Hi, MJ. Good evening. I like what you said so far with Carlos on about being an Olympian and being an inspiration to others. No, so just to quote a good friend of ours and a sports icon in Cebu, Sir Rico Navarro, the late Sir Rico Navarro, that Olympians are actually just regular people. They do the same things that are available to regular people, just like you and me. But what separates Olympians from others is really the effort, and that's what makes them champions, right? So, but before we go into your Olympic journey, I'd like to start from the beginning, no? So you began running at an early age back in your hometown in Cebu province, and you joined so many races from all levels. You started at the barangay level, eventually making it to city, then national level in events like the Palarong Pambansa when you were younger. And then when you were older, you made it to other more prestigious events, just like the National MILO Marathon. So can you tell us what made you pursue running to begin with, and what made you shift from, we know you started from sprints as a child, and then eventually you transitioned to distance running events. So what made you pursue running to begin with?
At first, during elementary, when I was 12, I was accidentally discovered during our intramurals, and then from there on, I get to represent our school to district meets, city Olympics or MILO Little Olympics, then to Batang Pinoy. Then I was able to run Palarong Pambansa at that certain year of my accidentally na pasubo ako sa running. And then at first, for me, running is like a competition. It's just winning medals and trophies. But later on, parang napaisip ako na parang hindi to, at first talaga, to be honest, hindi ko naisip na running could help me reach this far. Because at a young age, life was hard. My parents separated when I was 12, and I really want to help my father. And I also want to finish my studies. So during high school, I sacrificed running to focus on academics, because through academics, if I can finish into flying colors, like being the top 3 on your batch, you can get in a academic scholarship for college, which is doon ko pinagtuunan yung focus ko na I have to really focus on academics to earn an academic scholarship for college, because I really wanted to finish my studies. So I sacrificed sports during high school to focus on academics. But then during college, since I still get to get a chance to be given varsity scholarship from private schools, which is nakilala ko nung elementary ako. So they offered me scholarships, and this time parang kinatok ako. So Mary Jo, what's your goal this time? Gusto mo pa rin ba mag-focus to just doing, to being the old Mary Joy you grow up with, or gusto mo rin i-try yung love mo sa running, yung doon nagsimula yung saan ako nangarap. So doon nagsimula yung pangarap ko when I was grade 6, because hindi ko inakala na I could run with some private private school athletes representative, and I didn't imagine that I could run for the Region 7, the Cebu City na palarong pambansa, and which I did. So from there, I was inspired by that small beginnings to start with. And then when during college, so I get to have 100% full scholarship for my course. And then from that, I made promise to myself to really balance academics and sports to be able to finish my studies and also able to help my family with what I am capable of doing. So from my first 3 years in college was focused on being a sprinter. So it's more on just representing the school, winning medals. And then during 2009, when my coach Philip discovered my potential into long distance running, he encouraged me to do distance running, which I tried, but kulang yung push niya sa akin that time. And then he said, there are only few female long distance runner who competed in a distance running, so why not try? And then if pag pinalad ka, you can also earn money. So that time, parang doon ako na-motivate kasi life was hard talaga and I really want to help my family. So sinunod ko si coach, and my ultimate goal that time is to earn money. So I just have to keep on training, the hardest training I can, join fun run, weekly races, monthly races, and win that race and earn money. So that time, it keeps me motivated to do running, to do sports, because I was independent and I was able to help my family, and also I was able to finish my younger sibling to college. After, when I got that first trophy, when I napatapos ko ng pag-aaral sa kolehiyo yung kapatid ko, this time nabago yung goal ko. This time, I want to achieve something. I don't want to run just for money. I want to run something that Mary Joy wants or Mary Joy aims. Like, I also want to meet who are the Philippines fastest marathoners or distance athletes. I also want to know who is Ate Joan Banayag, why is she called the marathon queen, why is she the current national record holder. I grew up being competitive talaga, and I want to challenge myself, and I don't want to just be at the side of the corner being the same Mary Joy, and then I want something for myself this time. So after helping my family, it's time to what's my goal next time? What would I want to achieve? So at first, after being the top distance runner here in Cebu, what's next? So I'm aiming to be one of the top marathoner in the country. And how would I get that? It's through joining a national marathon competition. So doon ko nakilala si MILO Marathon. So my journey with MILO started during 2010 until it took me 3 years to finally get the national MILO Marathon title. And it took me 3 years kasi every year, tinatanong ako ni coach, anong kulang sa program natin? Bakit you are just there? Bakit hindi ka nag-grow? Or there must be something. So we keep updating on our goals every competition. So
I like that. No? So from what you shared, ang na-pick up ko so far was that even from an early age, may desire ka na to really get yourself out of your conditions at the time, no? And it seems like parang whatever achievement you hit, you strive to find yourself more objectives or more goals to hit. No, so that's what I got from what you said so far. So shout out also to Coach JPD. I hope he's watching for helping discover the talent we had in Joy, and also the wider MILO family, of course, for putting together these events that Joy has been part of. You were discovered in a few events such as the MILO Marathon, but you also participated in events like the MILO Little Olympics. So, I mean, credit also goes to companies to really support the sports program, to find talents like you. And I believe it, kasi Joy, diba? We know very well that it's one of the things that opened your eyes kasi nga you were suddenly running alongside kids who were from very prestigious private schools. So na-share mo sa amin just right now, no? So habang dumadami yung mga napapanalunan mong races and eventually yung success mo is napagtapos mo yung kapatid mo sa pag-aaral. So you mentioned na yun nga nag-shift na from monetary gains to a wider goal na, which is representing the country. Can you tell us in the midst of your running journey, paano mo naisip yung transition to your broader goals? What was going through your mind and bakit mo gusto gawin to?
So after being one of the top marathoner in the country, I asked myself, are you okay with that Mary Joy being known as the current MILO Marathon Queen, the current national record holder ng MILO? Are you contented? Okay ka na ba dyan? And then ko napaisip na, no, I want something more. Kung ano pang kaya ni Mary Joy gawin. So that time, I also, ano ba si Mary Joy after being a marathon queen or MILO marathon queen? I have that desire to run for the country. And how would I do that? So aside from getting the national MILO title, you also have to work for the time to reach a certain goal. So it's not just winning a certain race, you also have to work on something to qualify. So how would I represent the country in prestigious events like SEA Games or any international event? So this time, when I get to represent Philippines for the first time in a big international event like the Paris Marathon, which was one of the MILO's prize for me as the 2013 MILO Marathon Queen, nag-iba si Mary Joy. Iba yung happiness niya when I was in Paris. Kasi I was not running for myself that time. I was running for the country and iba yung pride niya. Kasi ang dami na nag-cheer, dami ng Filipinos na parang, Mary Joy, we're here for you. You are running not for you alone. We are here for you. So it's more on bringing pride and honor for the country this time. Then after Paris, I want a bigger mileage for me. So not only Paris, kasi iba yung pride talaga, nadala-dala mo yung country sa mga competitions mo. So doon ako na-inspire lalo.
I like that. No, so from what I heard was not only did you get to participate in like the world's top races, what was important for me from what you just said was how you were constantly pushing yourself to go further. And so much so that you wanted to represent the country and perform in the international arena. So that just speaks of how you want to elevate the sport of running and, want to make the world more aware about Filipinos as runners. Because, you were telling us this earlier that even your physique was challenged. You're not exactly the tallest athlete out there. And yet here you were. Some of the audience were calling you, hey, this little girl's winning the race, not knowing that, you're a Filipina and then you could actually make it to the top of the podium. So aside from that, you've been through a lot of challenges in your life. No, you mentioned it earlier. So you grew up with some humble beginnings. Your mother left her family in the care of your father at an early age. Your running career progression happened, and then the passing of your father throughout the colorful backstory in your bid to represent Philippines, because there were some challenges in your attempt to represent Philippines, right? You mentioned that to us. And these are just a few of the challenges, to name a few. And it's been so interesting to the point that MMK has created a feature on your life story entitled Finish Line, starring Dominic Ochoa as your dad and Charlene San Pedro as you. So I mean, imagine for a major network to pick up on your life story, it only means that it's very, very interesting. And to our audience, and if you want to catch it, you can catch it right after this episode on the Kapamilya channel. So Joy, it's been said a lot, and your life journey so far quite illustrates the saying, life is like a marathon. So how do you know how to keep going, and what keeps you going despite the many setbacks that you encounter?
So for me, sir, you really have to establish your goal. So at first, you have to think of something that at first attainable, and then keep updating your goal. When you're done with it, start with smaller goals and then to bigger goals. That would fuel to your dream. So ano ba talaga yung dream mo, yung bigger dream mo talaga. And you fuel it through your goals. So life is like a marathon for me because you have to think of something where to start and how to start. And then once you're there, it will never be an easy road for you. So I compared it that it will be very bumpy road because I experienced it. My road was long and it's bumpy, and sometimes you really have to stop. You have to make detours. There are plenty of uphills and downhills. Not only it's not all about achievements. There are many failures that's behind it, the learning, and sometimes your faith will be tested many times. Why I'm doing this? Why I should keep going? Ganon. And then so many times I have to think. So it's more on you just have to keep on running and achieve something that you want to achieve at the end of the road. So yon. It wasn't an easy journey for me, but I'm telling you, this is hindi pa nagtatapos si Mary Jo. I still have goals set in me here, even if it's pandemic. And I'm hungrier. Kung meron mang word na hungrier, I'm hungry for more. So I'm here to inspire everyone who started with the same humble beginnings with me, that you too can achieve something if you set yourself with it. Na you have to parang don't just dream of something. You work for that dream. Huwag mong patulugin yung panaginip mo. Kung patulugin mo lang, talagang mananatiling panaginip yan. So I did not let my dream slip. I worked for it day and night. Many sweat and tears being poured on this dream. And how I come this far. So, yun, sir.
I like that. No, so perfect. That was a good segue to our next portion because it's exactly that. The process never betrays the end result. And if you're an Olympian and you've been achieving so far, it only shows how much you've put into the process. So I take you over to Simone for her question. Sim?
Thanks, Robbie. Maayong gabi, MJ.
Maayong gabi, Simon.
Okay.
Hi, maayong gabi sa mga Bisaya nato ng mga friends and supporters.
Nax, kana ba? Tama ba yung pag-pronounce ko? Maayos ba?
Sakto.
Ang ganda. I love how you related life to a marathon. So I mean, it's not easy. Like you said, running a marathon is no easy feat. And it takes a lot of preparation, some crazy endurance and a great strength of mind to make it to the top. So you've conquered the MILO marathon 6 times and even broke the Philippine record. Then you placed 3 times in the SEA Games with 2 silvers and 1 gold, and you've competed around the world. And of course, you made it all the way to the Olympics. So you aren't called the marathon queen for nothing. And you mentioned earlier the importance of goal setting, and working towards them becomes your motivation. But how about those days you don't feel motivated? What else helps push you?
Yes, Simon. It's not every day that you are happy. It's not every day that you are motivated. So as I was confined indoors, I have observed myself that motivation alone won't get you far, because motivation fluctuates, because motivation is emotion. So I come up with a routine, a good habit, which I must follow every day. So you must be consistent on your habit or routine, because that will take you far. Ngayon gusto kong tumakbo, pero sad ako kasi example, wala kang worried ka kasi di mo alam kung hanggang kailan tong pandemic, hanggang kailan yung lockdown. I was very affected with happening, especially when you're focused on the social media happening. So when you come up with a good routine, you wake up every day and start with brushing your teeth, fix your bed, and then train. After that, what's next? Eat. And then do that every day, and hindi mo na malayan na with that habit, with that good routine, you are doing something for your goal. So, hindi ka nawawala sa rota mo. So, focus on establishing a good habit.
So it's good idea to really invest on those good habits, no? Because they, like what you said, motivation is just a feeling, and it's very fleeting, and it fluctuates. And so routine takes you far. So it sort of saves you on those rough days na hindi ka motivated. So you've run so many marathons, and one might think that you should get used to it already. But what makes each race different from the last?
Every race that we are competing, it has different targets. My coach will set a target for me, and sometimes he will ask me, "What's your target for joining that race?" So, for example, joining at first, joining MILO Marathon, what was my goal for that? Not only winning the title, but also get to hit the qualifying standard for the SEA Games. And then when I get to represent the SEA Games, what would be your goal? And then from year on, how would I maintain that title? So it's not an easy feat also, because I want to be, when I get the national MILO Marathon title in 2013, I asked myself, okay ka na ba dyan? And then, would you be okay to get another title next year? And then, yes, I want to get the title again. So we come up with the same training or improve a little bit, and then I get the same title in 2014. And then I still want to maintain that title for the third consecutive year. And then same. And then for the coming years and years. And then how did I was able to maintain that? And hindi siya nagiging madali, kasi every year you will encounter a lot of challenges, personal challenges. You have to be like, you always have to look back on who are you at the start, kasi pag may nabago sa'yo na hindi naging helpful to you reaching that title or getting the title, it will really affect your preparation. For example, one of the turnaround ng mga athletes is when they get to the top, sometimes natatabunan yung kung sino sila with the achievements they had. So, parang, okay na ako dito. Okay na. Parang, they boost a lot. Or, yun kasi kailangan din ng mga athletes is to learn something kung sino sila at the start and how they were able to achieve that. And maybe improve a little bit on the good side. So, I train 4 times a week. Now, make it 5 times a week. But don't be too hard on yourself. Like, if you needed a rest, you have to rest. And then, just keep updating your goals. And I want to be the first Filipina to hit the most titles in the MILO. I really set that for myself, and I worked for that title. So, and I'm grateful because my coach is helping me reach my goals. And also, I am surrounded with good people who helped me this far. Kasi it took a village eh. Hindi pwedeng ikaw lang talaga mag-isa. And at first, we had we don't have the resources, but then, sa akin kasi I set it as, I just let the running do the talking. So when you get to perform better, and then nakikita ng mga tao na you are pusigido ka, you're persevere on achieving something for yourself, later on, you get to inspire a lot na, Mary Joy is a good example for us, leaving our gym. So let's help her. So then, mas lumaki yung village ko, helping me reach this far. So yun, every marathon, every competition, we set a certain goal and constantly evaluating our performance every after marathon. Anong kailangan changes? Kasi hindi naman lahat ng competitions ko panalo and na-attain namin yung goals or target namin. So we need to revise again kung ano yung naging kulang or saan kami nagkamali. So, yun.
So, because it takes also a lot of mental fortitude, diba, running a marathon. And funny, because Robbie mentioned this before, then he tried doing a marathon and I don't know, like half marathon ata yun. And by the time he reached the 10-kilometer mark, he started to question his decisions. He was like, what the hell am I doing with my life? But I mean, and you also mentioned that earlier because it tests your faith and you're wondering why you're doing that. And do you have that feeling every race?
Yes. Kasi, at first, mas natatakot ngayon. I don't really like to run shorter distances na, like 5K and 10K. Mas masakit sa akin yan. I used to run distance running na, so I'm more focused on it. But every marathon kasi, when joining an endurance running, important kasi is to set really goal or target on a certain race. It's not just, okay, kung gusto mo takbusin lang yung marathon, gusto mo lang to test yourself to finish a 42-kilometer, then stick to that goal. Don't focus on, bakit ganito yung oras ko? At the first place, gusto mo lang siya tapusin, di ba? So, just have to stick on your goal. The next goal, okay, natapos ko si marathon, natapos ko si 42K. Gusto ko naman i-improve yung time ko na 10 hours or 7 hours. So, that's your next goal. So, keep improving your goal and then work for something na paano ko ba i-improve? Tanong mo, paano ko i-improve yung time ko from my previous marathon? And then nutrition also plays an important role for us distance runners. So don't forget about it also. And we all have different goals talaga. Running distance runner, pwede rin gusto ko lang maging fit or lose weight. So stick to that goal. Wag mong ganon. So and then keep improving and upgrading your goals. Yun.
So now the challenge is that there aren't many opportunities to run because of the pandemic, and this is affecting your chance even to compete in the Tokyo Olympics, right? So how does that make you feel, and what are you doing to adjust to the situation?
At first, it was very challenging in my part. I was very, very worried, and I was put on a spot na dito na nagtatapos yung Olympic goal ko kasi all my competitions for this year are all canceled and postponed. And then when I get to see get to know that the Olympics postponed also, and then it gives me a lighter side. And then, di pa pala, I still have the chance. I just have to keep on working kung ano yung kaya kong gawin at home. So I just have to stay on track and don't dwell with too many activities na hindi mo kontrolado. So focus on yourself, focus on how I can improve and stay on track despite the limited space at home. And my Olympic goal might took a pause for now, but it does not mean that it will take a pause forever. So let's see what's gonna happen tomorrow. I'm taking one step at a time, and I'm achieving and I'm living life. So how I achieve something means how I'm going to face my tomorrow. So living one day at a time na.
Wow, that's a lot of positivity coming from you, especially the opportunity was taken away from you in some way, but what kind of have you been doing some reflecting in the past few months? What have you been doing to have that mindset?
Good question, Simon. Kasi what I did is because I was anxious and worried for the first weeks and months. Ang ginawa ko, I come up with journalizing. So I keep on every night. Part na din siya ng routine ko na before I get to sleep, I have to write something. Kung ano ba yung feeling ni Mary Joy the whole day, kung ano yung naging problem niya, I have to write down every problem or yung mga negativities running into me, and I have to solve it. And ang ganda kasi when you get to write those problems, you get to think of a good solution and then review it the next day, and then tatawanan mo na lang yung sarili mo kung bakit ka naiyak sa hapon. Because we are bound to everyday social media, I get to unfollow some negativities and focus on the good side, yung makaka-help sa sarili mo. And then, aside from doing physical activities, keeping you physically fit, I also spend 5 minutes prayer at night. Parang the routine I get to put on a certain days, it will take you some 20 days to stay on the routine, and then after that, yun na yung mga parang day-to-day activities mo. And then any problems, write it down, and then for sure matatabunan yung mga problema mo. And then yun, you get to put diary also of yourself during this pandemic. So after 2020, you get to review everything, and then nakikita mo yung sarili mo on how far you grow every day facing this pandemic. And then you will be proud of yourself. And that's what I'm doing also.
Yeah, and I guess you do a bit of journaling online as well on your page. I've been seeing some of your posts too. But yeah, regarding routines, and given that you mentioned also earlier, there are things that you cannot control and you don't want to focus on those that you cannot control. And the fact that even now with the pandemic and the adjustments that you made on your routine, that shows the flexibility that you have to, even if you had that routine before for the longest time, running 100 kilometers a week, but now your resources are limited as well. You have to stay home, and you're doing other things too to fill in your time, like you're baking, and you're also working on your mental health as well by journaling regularly. So yeah, and I guess now that even if you might not make it to the Tokyo Olympics, and usually the pressure would be there that I still have to make it, but instead you found the silver lining in this experience, and that's something that you guys are going to dig deeper into now with Relly. So I'm going to call on Relly. Thank you, MJ.
Thanks, Simone. Well, Mary Joy, before we proceed to my questions, I'd like to give a shout out to our viewers: Flora Bores, Nico Dasilio, Ted Pai or Ted P, Alfred Joseph Diaz, Arvil Aureliana, Andre Bardos, Gwyneth Henota, Rica Adenig, Raymond Rula, Patsy Gangan, Gab Ferreras, Roselyn Getubig, Ralph Estrado. I think this is my good friend Giovanni Villagracia, Arlene Pastor-Fide, Manny Kagata, and we also have Michael Mann from the US. Ashley Guro, Janine Rakipo, and Alberto Mora. So so Mary Joy, so far I've been enjoying all your answers and your conversations with Rob and Simone, and and I've really picked up a lot of good things with you, especially your selflessness, diba? I mean, putting your family first before your dreams, and using your talents to be able to provide livelihood, to keep them alive. And of course, establishing your dreams, establishing goals, keeping yourself in check, with this whole pandemic by keeping notes. And of course, keeping yourself grounded. You always say that, kahit panalo, you're always looking for ways to improve even further. And I think what I find amusing also, if you will agree with me guys, is how Mary Joy actually pertains to her or communicates in the third person. What would Mary Joy do? What is Mary Joy thinking? So I think this is at first it's amusing, but if you look at it, it's something that could help your own person, because as a sport cup, your long distance marathon, and for some people, individual sports, mahirap talaga eh. Kasi you are competing not only against other runners, but more importantly, you're competing against yourself. Di ba? Kung gusto mo tumigil, di ba? Gumagano yung utak mo eh, di ba? Kung kailangan ko na tumigil, hindi, I'm gonna push forward, di ba? Ang daming parang konsyensya ba? So I think that's what's Okay, so Mary Joy, I would like to, really talk about your journey, yung sa 2016 Rio Olympics and how it was a huge challenge for you. You prepared heavily, so talagang nag-training ka for this one, and one of them was really the Olympic qualifiers through the Boston Marathon. But when you ran the Boston Marathon, you hit a hump on the road or a roadblock towards that goal. So you weren't able, hindi mo na-hit yung qualifying time. Diba? And after that, I think in our conversation, you said all hope was lost. Bumalik ka sa Cebu. You just wanted to be alone and, even talk about hanging it up. But another opportunity was presented to you, to the Ottawa Marathon, and which is also an Olympic qualifier. And and you joined that marathon, and then of course you were able to redeem yourself, and that's how you qualified. But going through that, from Boston to Ottawa, what was the mindset? What was Mary Joy thinking, heading towards what we call this second chance? This one more chance ba? If we're going to put it this way. And what did you do different this time in terms of preparation, in terms of while you were running compared to Boston?
So Boston was my first biggest heartbreak race that I was really, really heartbroken. Doon ko una na-feel kung gaano kasakit pala when you put parang binigay ko yung buhay ko on that certain race. I put a lot. I sacrificed my time. It was the first time I was away with my family for 3 long months. I adjusted with a foreign country, day to day, living there, and focusing only to qualifying for the Olympics through the Boston Marathon. And it was also the first time that I get to have support from a private company to really train for my dream, to achieve for that dream. And then I was very happy doing that. And I expected too high for myself. Kasi alam ko kaya ko eh. I know myself. All my coaches naniniwala na kaya ko. But then I failed. When I was in Boston, I was confident na kaya ko. I failed like 4 minutes. Hindi ko siya na-achieve. And then tinanong ko yung sarili ko kung saan ako nagkulang. Bakit na parang that was the first time I was training 3 times a day. That was the first time I was way disciplined than the usual Mary Joy I was doing here. Pero bakit hindi ko siya na-achieve? So, I was devastated. I was depressed. For a week, hindi ako makausap and I was crying. Yun, parang nasabi ko sa sarili ko, so this is where dito ako nagtatapos. So, that's Olympic. Sabi nila, kaya wala pang nag-qualify kasi mahirap talaga siya. So, it's impossible. So, kaya nga wala nag-qualify kasi mahirap siya. So, yun nga. So, I said to myself na, yun nga, hindi nga talaga natin kaya. But then, a good thing, one of my sponsor who happens to be a friend na and a family still supported me na if I still wanted to pursue my Olympic dream, then he will be at the back supporting me. And hindi lang siya nag-isa. There are many of them. So, doon ako nabuhayan. So, there's still chance. Try ko muna. Like, okay, let's try. Kung kaya pa ba or hindi. Kasi naniniwala talaga ako na kaya ko eh. So, when going to the Ottawa month after, that Ottawa Marathon gave me a different perspective, going to a different race, different venue, and different goal. That time I came like less confident, but I trained the same. But this time, kasi konting parang kinunan ko yung confidence ko talaga. And then I set the same goal to qualify. And then I was running like not looking into my watch, I just run kung ano yung kaya ni Mary Joy. And then, na-surprise ko yung sarili ko seeing the finish line, 200 meters going to the finish line. I was trembling, I was crying with joy kasi yung nakita ko yung clock, it's 2 hours 42. So, connect ko yung Garmin ko and it's the same. So, akala ko hindi siya magkatugma. And then, that's the first time na naging emotional yung finish ko after a heartbreaking race sa Boston. Parang natabunan ng so much joy and happiness yung pagtakbo ko ng Ottawa. When I finished the race, hindi ko na-feel na tumakbo ako ng marathon. I was shouting, I was screaming, I was crying, and I was hugging everyone there. And yun nga, the officials are asking, are you in pain? What happened? And then, yun nga, hindi ako mapakali. I have to verify, official na yung result. And hindi lang siya, nag-qualify ako sa time. I also finished within top 10, which also gave me another qualifying for the Olympics. So, kahit hindi ko nakuha yung time and I finished top 10 in a gold medal race, I still get to represent the country in the Olympics. So, nag-qualified na rin ako. So, yun, parang nagbunga lahat. Yung disappointment ko the previous month, natabunan siya ng saya kasi hindi nawala yung paniniwala ko sa sarili ko na I can still achieve this. Kaya ko pa. Hindi pa doon nagtatapos si Mary Joy. For as long as meron pang naniniwala sa akin na kaya ko, then I still have to pursue that dream. Kasi hindi ko lang dream yun eh. Dream yun lahat ng mga Pilipino.
Great. That's a great story, no? And for our viewers, I think yun nga, yung sabi nga ni Mary Joy, I think what worked here in Ottawa is that you did not put too much pressure on yourself, di ba? Kasi nga nakatikim ka na ng not only failure but disappointment with Boston because nga you were trying too hard, thinking that this is the only chance you had, di ba? But with Ottawa, which is a second chance, but you were able to manage yourself into thinking, just do your best, di ba? Sabi mo nga, less confident, di ba? Pero, hindi ka nga tumitingin sa relo, di ba? Which is already a sign that, yeah, there's the maturity there, that win or lose, as long as you did your best, it's fine. Eh. Yun nga eh. And hindi mo lang namalayan that while doing your thing, going through your emotions, yun na nga, nakita mo that 200 meters na magbeat mo pala yung time. And that's the greatest feeling talaga when you're not thinking about it. It all comes naturally. And then, you can see that the gods are right behind you, really pushing you on. And I think that's the best advice. Eh? Don't put too much pressure on yourself and just run it and go with it. No? Now, yung going now to the Olympics itself in Rio, no? Which is of course the biggest and most important competition in your lifetime. You prepared for these months of intensive training, diba? Mostly abroad, diba? Again, away from your family. But the competition itself presented a different story for you. It was not what you expected. It was actually a struggle for you to. But despite, the struggle in terms of, I hope you will mention it. But despite this, you were able to finish and make our country proud. So tell us about the ordeal that you went through in Rio and how you overcame such an obstacle. And what were you thinking this whole time?
Coming into Rio Olympics, you are already living the dream of all the Filipinos. I was there. I get to set myself that after this race, I really want to achieve Filipinos' dream that I will become an Olympian. I am an Olympian. So you are one of the top marathoners in the world because you are there. But I didn't expect, like yung sinabi niyo kanina, na it was a struggle for me, not only for me, but for the entire, I think most of the elite professional marathoners who competed in Rio, because there were like 24 professional elite female marathoners, DNF or did not finish the race. Because sobrang init ng Rio Olympics. We started at 9 and okay lang sana if it's that hot, but another challenge is the water station, which was stationed every 5 or 10 kilometers, and it's way far, and then reaching that station, the water is too hot, parang sasakyan eh, makina ka na nag-overheat, then reaching to a certain point, hindi na eh, you already feel something na meron ng depekto sa makina mo, and you are only human. So, I was parang added struggle to. So, sinabi ko na sa sarili ko, kaya nga, this is Olympics kasi hindi magiging madali. So, it was one of the hardest talaga marathon that I encountered kasi parang survival of the fittest talaga yun eh. So, you have to be, you have to think of something, how would you survive this challenge of you. And so, parang hindi naging madali yung pagiging Olympian ko. So, struggling, reaching 10 kilometers, I was feeling cramps on my left, one part of my leg, then to 20K, to two legs na, to 30K, my upper body is already in pain. And then, the last few kilometers, like 5 to 3 kilometers, I was already holding my second last breath because hindi na ako makahinga through my nose. Because when I deep breath, lahat ng ribs ko sasakit na siya, magka-cramps na siya. And seeing one African athlete collapse on the last 3 kilometers in front of me, parang na-feel ko na din, bakit ako, baka maging ganyan din ako, and bakit ako hindi pwede mag-stop. Some of the runners already stopped because they're in pain like me. Bakit ako hindi pwede mag-stop? But then I realized na there are many Filipinos who are cheering me from behind and wanted me to finish the race because they want me to achieve the Filipino dream. So, pag sinabi ko sa sarili ko na if I don't get to finish this race, hindi ako magiging Olympian. And that's my dream na I need to finish this race no matter what. Kahit gagapangin ko pa yon, basta wag lang ako mag-collapse doon, kahit sa finish line na lang. So, yun yung nasa sa sarili ko. And yun, I achieved it despite the challenge I encountered, the struggle, kahit sabihin ko pa na this would be my last race in my career. Okay lang for as long as I achieve this impossible dream na sinabi nila for us Filipinos. When I reached the finish line, I was given the chance to prove na kaya pala nating mga Pilipino na maging Olympian. Kaya pala ng isang 4'11" female athlete from Barangay Guba na maging Olympian and achieve her goal. So, yon.
That is a magnificent feat that you've accomplished, no? I mean, of course, a feat in itself is really already participating in the Olympics, but gaya ng sinabi mo, di ba, you actually beat out like 24 elite women's runners who actually did not finish, if I'm not mistaken. And yun nga, just the fact that Simon African actually fell in front of you kasi hindi niya nakayan. I mean, these guys are more developed, and the training is different, more intense, di ba? But here you are, with the struggle in your mind, yun nga, di ba? Competing with yourself, pero tinuloy mo pa rin because, of course, you had, the country behind you, the people supporting you, and I think, that's the greatest honor you could actually give us. We are all big fans right now of what you've accomplished, no? And to finish is really something else. You're a cut above the rest is what we call it. Okay, so my last question is, what are your plans for the future? I mean, we talked about what you're doing now sa pandemic, but ano yung plano mo? How long do you plan to compete? Kasi nga, as what we mentioned in our last conversation, di ba? They say pa nga, pag runner ka or long distance runner, pag tumatanda ka, mas gumagaling ka pa, the better you become. So is this true? I mean, for our viewers, for them to know, is this true? As you get older, you're better. Kasi, or us, like kami, basketball, football, team sports, pag tumatanda na tayo, wala na eh. At 35, we're retiring already. But for you, go on pa rin eh. As long as 40s, I don't know kung aabot man ng 50s, is this true? What is it?
Yes, for marathon naman, based on studies naman, once you get older, it will help you better prepare for an endurance sport. But kahit ano pa man yan, nasa sayo pa din yan eh. If you want to pursue and if you want to keep on running. Kasi ako, I can't imagine life without running. So, I would have to, sa akin naman, I still want to pursue another Olympic dream, maybe in Tokyo or in Paris. So, um, let's see what's gonna happen in the next few years. But setting another Olympic dream will only means fueling me from my day-to-day life, and um, I'll just have to check on myself if I can still perform or not, and then we'll take it from there. Let's see, and then if I still can compete and represent the country, then I would still go for it. But if not, um, well, I could be of help for some other athletes who dream the same. Then I can be of help also. I am willing to do that, and whatever it is. But for now, I want to make an impact, inspire change, and leave everything better than I found it. So they just have to keep on going. So don't just stop there. Just keep on running, keep on setting another finish line. So what's next for this um, chapter? And then try another chapter, and then yun.
And that's where we are, and we hope that you will, yeah, we hope that you will continue, or we hope to see you in the next Olympics, no? And kasi, as we know you and what you've said, di ba, you're establishing your goal right now that you want to compete again. If not, then maybe train people who will. But, we wish you all the best. And we know that you can, because I think you have the heart of a champion, is that what we could call it. And yeah, so we're all cheering for you. So keep training, keep praying, and keep your goals in check. So now I'll turn you over to Carlos for the closing remarks. Carlos?
All right. Thank you so much, Relly. Of course, before we proceed to our final question for Miss MJ Tabal, I'd like to make some shout-outs. Shout-outs to John Montalban, Angelo Owahe, Joaquin Felix, Juan Justiniano, Nin Soria, Belmarie Gikain, Athena Kumainking, Villasica Rojas, Mary de la Serna, Cleo Devani, Mickey Buda Asistio, Lolong Valencia, Leland Englis, Jay Cordovilla, Rex Bot, Chemit Kirsten Dian Kibod, Agustines. All right, MJ, may mga tanong dito yung mga viewers natin. So, first question from Manny Kagata. Ano ang pinakamahirap sa distance running? Is it body fatigue or mind composure?
Mind composure. You have to develop. Yung running kasi we train on physically, but sometimes we did not expect it's more on a mental game talaga, on how far you can continue, how far yourself can parang i-contain yung pain, lahat. So dito ka tatapusin talaga. It's mental game yung marathon.
Wow, it's a mental game. Okay. I mean, you really have to have that proper mindset para maging matagumpay ka sa pagiging distance runner. And of course, because of the fact na yung fatigue papasok sa utak mo and it could actually overwhelm you. So you really need to have, hindi ka dapat physically fit. Parang yung mental aspect ay kailangan din na pahalagaan. All right, next. Another question from Manny Kagata. Sino-sino ang hinahangaan mong international distance runner?
My idol talaga is Sarah Hall, then, and actually si Cara Goucher, then a lot of current athletes in Paula Radcliffe, amazing marathoners internationally. So they are my idols.
Yeah, I mean, si Sarah Hall actually is watching right now sa show natin. Just kidding. Okay. Okay. Okay, hindi ako pa sa mga gino't binibini. Okay, next question. What are the advantages of training in Japan compared sa ating bansa? Go.
The best lesson or advantage I get to train in Japan is that the nutrition side, because we are only focused on doing the training, and then there's a nutritionist who's looking into us every day, like kung ano yung set of training we had, if it's a hard training, if it's a long training, Then the meal, breakfast or dinner, lunch, they will prepare is focus on what activity we did. So, if it's an SC training, so yung meal mo din is super light lang. And then, if it's a harder training, focus on a protein, more protein, and it's a balanced meal talaga. Someone is looking for us every day. There's a nutritionist preparing for our meal. And then, also, the physical therapist assigned only for distance runner is also there during training, and who is observing us every training. So, alam nila kung bakit sumasakit yung tuhod mo. They're looking into your running form, studied you, and also the discipline. Kasi they are disciplined and having yung routine. Very important. Living and staying in Japan. You wake up at the same time, never be late, always on time, and sleeping at 10 o'clock in the evening, waking up at 5 a.m. the same. Yun. Parang talagang EFP training yung mga athletes doon. Discipline and follow a same routine every day. Yun.
Yeah, and yung importance mismo ng nutrition, isang bagay na parang minamaliit natin. But then when you realize that the best performing athletes are the ones na pinapahalaga nila yung diet nila, like the kind of like nutrients na makukuha nila from the intake as well. And as you mentioned, discipline, also very important. Like, kailangan consistent na you follow a certain schedule or you follow like a strict regimen para para masanay na yung katawan mo regarding so that you could like further prepare in your as an athlete. Oh, right. Okay. May nagtanong dito. What's the most expensive and most memorable shoe na nasa likod mo ngayon? Kasi parang nasa outlet store ka ngayon with the shoes right there. All right, go.
For the best memorable shoes I had, it's the DS Racer, because most of my DS Racer racing shoes are the ones I use in getting the national record, getting the Olympic standard, qualifying for the Olympics, the one I ran in Ottawa, all the half marathon records I ran using the A6 DS Racer. And now I'm loving the new Meta Racer in A6, and it's quite expensive, like times to the price of the DS Racer. So I'm excited to test that racing shoe soon. And hopefully I'll get to put a record on it also. Yeah.
Isang malaking sana all ang naririnig ko sa masasagot mo dyan. Okay. All right. Ito na, yung pinaka-defining question mo. Okay, MJ, given sa pinagdaanan mo, given sa talambuhay mo, curious ako, ano ang payo na maibibigay mo sa ating mga viewers natin ngayon? Para sa ating mga leaders na nais manatili yung kanilang motivation. Go.
That I have 3 important things to share to you that keep me to be here and help me run life. First, you have to establish a goal, and then constantly update your goals. So after achieving, so come up with a smaller goals, so then to bigger goals, and keep updating it. Always put something or aim something. So all of us have goals. And number 2, establish a good habit or routine, because motivation is fluctuating, and you have to routine will put you back every day. So have to establish a good routine and a habit. And then lastly, you have to keep going. So whatever it takes, if hindi mo pa na-achieve yung gusto mo, and then alam mo kaya mo, kahit ilang beses ka pa matalo, ilang beses ka pa matumba sa daan, ilang beses ka pa nawala, or ilang beses ka parang nawalan ng motivation or being discouraged by everyone, for as long as you know your your desire, you know yourself better, na kaya mo, then achieve it. It's all of you. It's nasa sa'yo yan. So achieve it and keep going. Kahit ilang beses ka pa madapa, just stand up. Fail, but keep digging deep because we all have a deep well of strength to draw from. You just have to believe in yourself. Yes.
Yeah, agree ako doon kasi may kasabihan nga or may sawikain nga na fall 7 times, rise up 8 times. And of course, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. 3 of the most important tips from Miss Mary Joy Tabal. 1 is it all begins with a goal. 2, establish a good habit or a good routine. And last but not the least, always keep going. All right, Miss MJ, before we proceed to your favorite segment, I'd like to make some shout-outs pa more. Shout-out kay Jake Michael, kay Mary Ann, kay Pat Catimpo, kay Lorenzo Enrico Rojas, kay Maria Pineda, Ana David, Mark Acosta, Jomar De Lima, Ken Onin, and happy birthday to Michael Mahon from Framingham, USA, who turns 58. Wow, and he says he was 20th in the 2016 Boston Marathon. Congratulations to you. And some more of these birthday greetings to Arnie Villanueva, and as well as additional shout-outs to Carl Hardinel, like Jonel Guerrero, Jaden Dagpin, Shane Lauronal, Yuan S. Mero. All right. Ito na, MJ. Yung pinaka-hinihintay natin segment. Ladies and gentlemen, we introduce none other than Crunch Time. So, MJ, gaya ng sinabi mo like in our previous discussions, like you kept on watching yung previous episodes namin. So, malamang, alam mo na yung patakaran natin or yung rules natin regarding Crunch Time. So, basically, magtatanong kami or we're going to ask some simple questions to MJ and then she'll respond with some simple replies. No need for explanations unless if you want to explain them. All right? So, MJ, handa ka na ba sa Crunch Time?
Handa na. Game na.
Team ka na ba?
All right, handa.
Kaya namin Carlos eh.
All right. Here we go in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And first question, favorite race?
Favorite
Race.
race? Scotiabank Ottawa Marathon.
Yung Ottawa. Yeah, understandable naman. Okay, next. Para sa'yo, ano yung feeling ko best race ever? Best race ever.
National MILO Marathon.
Yung Milo Marathon. I see. Yeah, where it all began. Okay, next.
2013, yeah, where it all began.
Yeah, okay,
It
next.
opened a lot
Okay
of
na si
doors
Rob.
for me.
Okay na si Rob.
Okay, next.
Okay.
Favorite athlete?
Mary Joy.
Third person.
Breaking the fourth wall. Mary Joy. Okay. I like that. Sheer confidence. Sheer confidence.
Nice.
Next. Favorite training destination?
Japan.
Japan. Okay. Understandable. Next. Running under the sun or under the rain?
Under the sun. I was born
Under the sun. Okay. Nice. Next. Speed or stamina?
Speed.
Speed. Okay, next. Slow jog or walk?
Slow jog.
Slow jog. Okay, next. Favorite exercise other than running?
Spinning. Biking. Spinning.
Spinning, biking.
Indoor
Okay.
spin.
Okay, next. Favorite Milo athlete?
Milo athlete. Can I answer the same?
Sabi ko na nga ba, yun ang sasagutin mo. Siyempre, MJT pa rin, number 1. Okay, next.
Yes.
Punta naman tayo sa non-sports related questions. Okay, here we go. First, favorite superhero?
Thor.
Thor.
Hero pa si Thor.
Oh, hero siya. Superhero siya. Okay. Nice. Yeah, yung mga like giant, gigante type, right? Okay, next. Favorite animal?
Dog.
Dog. Okay,
Dog,
dog.
animal ba? Dog. Yes, I
Yeah.
have that here.
Okay. Next. Favorite food?
Food. Banana.
Banana. Energy food. Okay, nice. Okay, next. Favorite color?
Blue.
Blue. Yeah, kita ko nga ngayon eh. Next. Flowers or sweets?
Flower.
Flowers. Ang sweet naman. Okay, next. Favorite fashion brand?
Brand.
Brand. Oh, brand.
Zara.
Zara.
Shop.
Social.
H&M. Madami.
Dami ah. Okay.
Pero not favorite. Kung ano lang yung sale.
I see. Okay. Next. Celebrity dream crush.
Wala. Sino ba? Wala.
Wala. Okay. Loyal sa boyfriend. Okay, next.
Local?
Kahit ano,
Ay,
local
basta
or
wala.
international?
Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise.
Forever time.
Wow, old school.
Yan.
Nice. Okay, next. Dream vacation spot.
Switzerland.
Switzerland. Okay. All right, next.
Crash landing.
Training there for 2 weeks.
I see. Okay, nice. Okay, next. Ito.
Sabi
Morena
ko-
or mestizo?
Huh? Ay, Moreno.
Ay, so nga pala moreno. Okay. All right, okay. Next. Ito, management, accounting, or public administration?
Both.
Both. Yeah, di ba? Okay. Understandable. Next. Favorite baking recipe?
Muffin.
Muffin. Okay.
Queen Mary's muffin.
Queen Mary's muffin. Ah, gusto ko matikman yun ah. Specialty. Ito,
Yes.
final question. Okay,
Yeah.
what is your motto in life? Or favorite motto?
It's everything is possible. Like nothing is impossible talaga. I live with it.
Nothing
As long
is
as you want
impossible. Wow, ang ganda naman nun. Okay, so, ladies and gentlemen, that wraps up Crunch Time, and we are about to end today's session. But before we end, we have some final messages coming from our fellow gold diggers and from Miss Mary Joy Tabal. But of course, let's begin with what we have in store in the next succeeding week. So, Simone, Relly, and Robbie, the floor is yours. Take it away.
Hey guys, again, thank you very much for joining us in this very amusing episode with Mary Joy Tabal. You know, it's quite an honor to have her here. And do catch us again next week, same time, 8 p.m., as we have a deep conversation now with the big boys of esports, of local esports, Ren Vitug and Ralph Aligada. So you wouldn't want to miss this, guys. All the esports guys, all the enthusiasts, and you know, the future of esports is here, and we'll hear it from them. So Simone, turn it over to you.
Thanks, Rels. Daghang salamat, MJ. It's nice seeing you again. And I always feel proud having the opportunity to be in the same room with you and also with your fellow Olympian, Heidelin Diaz. So you guys are strong women breaking boundaries and changing the narrative for young athletes, especially girls everywhere. So it's truly an honor and amping kanunay. So thanks for joining us again, teammates. We hope you could share with us on Facebook your thoughts and what you learned from this episode and tag the Gold Diggers PH, or you could simply share your posts or comment on our video uploads on Facebook and YouTube. We'd really love to hear from you guys, and thank you also to everyone who has followed us on our Facebook page and subscribe to our YouTube page. If you haven't liked or followed us, we hope you can click that button and continue to dig with us. But more importantly, our hearts and prayers are with those affected by the recent typhoons. Please take care and stay safe, teammates. Robbie, RDV?
Thanks, Tim. So it's always a pleasure to catch up and learn from Mary Joy, as she really is an inspiration and a treasure to have, not just as a friend, but as a fellow Filipino. So well done, MJ, and we wish you success in all your races in life. So if you wish to catch a dramatized and more concise version of her life, you can catch that right now on MMK Finish Line, now on the Kapamilya channel. So, hey teammates, so 2020 bit us in the butt again with a set of typhoons. So Rolly and Ulysses really devastated our fellow Filipinos and the rest of Luzon area. So we're asking if you can, if any of our viewers out there can really support and pitch in to whatever cause is really helping our fellow Filipinos in need. So one that comes to mind is Rock Ed Relief, which is handled by Miss Gang Badoy Kapati. So if you can head on over to Rock Ed Relief and see what they're doing, we'd appreciate the effort. Again, it's all about pitching in and how we can help out our fellow Filipinos at this critical time in the country. So I now turn you over to the woman of the hour, Miss Mary Joy Tabal. Mary Joy?
Yes, thank you so much for having me tonight, the Gold Diggers PH, and I'm very happy that I was able to share this night with you guys. And yes, don't forget to watch my MMK replay tonight. It's starting now. So my sort of advice for everyone who are struggling and unmotivated, worried about the future, just keep moving forward. And we never prepare for the curveballs, but when they come, we dig deep, we overcome. And we are all digging deep. So let's go and let's continue enjoying life. God bless all and keep safe and healthy.
All right, so that wraps everything up. And to quote Manny Kagata, who immediately sums the entire episode up, there you go, Miss Mary Joy Tabal, an epitome of a strong woman. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's all for today. Once again, my name is Carlos Pineda, and this is Gold Diggers. Remember to dream, dig in, and win. See you next time on our next episode.